Hi, I'm attachment specialist Adam Lane Smith, and today I'm going to teach you why he doesn't notice the things that you hate about yourself. By the end of this video, you should understand how men actually view the female body, especially the body of a woman that they really love, and why it probably is not as bad as you imagine it is. To do that, I'm going to start off by telling you a story about Jack and Jenny. Jack and Jenny are in their bedroom. Jenny drops her robe to stand naked in front of her husband Jack, but she suddenly feels self-conscious and covers herself. "Are you sure it doesn't bother you?" Jack says, "What? It doesn't bother you? My mole?" And Jack says, "You have a mole?" "Don't pretend. I know it's a huge mole." "No, really, you have a mole?" Jenny sighs. "Jack, we've been married for 5 years. You stare at my mole all the time. It's right here." Jenny points to a small brown patch on her stomach beneath her naked breast. "It's disgusting. How could you not notice it?" Jack manages to peel his eyes from her naked breast long enough to squint at the tiny brown speck. "Oh, I guess you do have a mole. Well, whatever." "You don't have to be nice," Jenny says. "I know it's hideous." That story might sound a little bit familiar to you if you've been married. Women often are insecure about details on their bodies. But I'll be honest with you, most men don't notice details. Most men focus on body parts. This is a misunderstanding between the sexes, and it creates endless confusion. Now, no man has ever said, "Oh, one of my wife's boobs is slightly larger than the other one, and that disgusts me." But every woman on earth knows which one of her breasts is larger than the other and is terrified her partner will reject her for it. Did you know that approximately 90% of women have one breast that's 15 to 20% larger than the other? That's according to Dr. Kirtley Parker Jones in an interview on the University of Utah Health Department website. Having different sized breasts is perfectly normal and can also affect the size of your areolas as the breast stretches. Keep that in mind if you're worried you're going to remove your bra one day and your husband's going to shriek and say, "What happened to the left one?" Okay, so men like breasts. That's established. What about other problems? What about insecurities with your face? Researchers at Liverpool and Stirling universities showed male and female participants photographs of the opposite sex, both with unblemished faces and with digitally added scars. As you might expect, women rated men with facial scars to be about 5.7% more attractive. For men, scars serve as a badge of honor. It's a show of experience. Now, reading this and watching this, women, you probably expect men to rate women with facial scars as less attractive, right? Wrong. It turns out men don't care at all. The male respondents rated women equally attractive with or without a facial scar. That response held true whether the man was considering the woman for either a one-night stand or a long-term relationship like a marriage. Ladies, your takeaway should be, as long as your small imperfections are less noticeable than a huge scar on your face, you're probably fine. And even some facial scars seem to be fine. He won't care. It's science. In fact, according to the study published in Personality and Individual Differences Journal, men attribute facial scars on women as being the result of an accident. Your scars might actually bring out his protective side. So if you've got a small white line on your knee from when you fell off your bike at age 10, don't worry that he's going to see it during sex and leap out the window to escape. Now, what about moles, freckles, that weird toenail you can't seem to fix? Well, in reality, men don't notice, but women do. Most women spend their time worrying about the man they love noticing imperfections that only another woman would ever notice. This is because women are in sexual competition with each other. And at least in industrialized societies, that competition tends to be driven by physical beauty. Women noticing their small imperfections and the imperfections of their perceived competition and rivals helps them to rank themselves and heighten their chances of landing a good mate. A woman who looks at a person and picks out details has a better chance. So she'll look at details: that person's hair, their clothes, the condition, and the cost, their shoes, cellulite deposits, distinctive features. Men don't typically do this. Men look at parts, especially when they look at women. That's according to a study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology. This effect is even more pronounced in men who view pornography, and especially during sex. That's why Jack can stare at Jenny's naked body for 5 years and never notice a mole 2 inches below her breasts. Because every time her breasts are out, Jack is staring at them. He probably has to remind himself to breathe. For women, it's complicated. Few women consciously realize that they can cover those imperfections by distracting men with accentuated body parts. But women do this all the time without even thinking about it. Certain clothes, shoes, makeup, hairstyles can draw attention to your beneficial features away from features you don't like as much. Men will be so focused on the parts that you're highlighting that they won't notice that your left pinky toe curls slightly more than your right pinky toe. The rule is flaunt what you've got. He won't care about the rest because he'll be so focused on what's good. It also comes down to figuring what men care about versus what women care about. If you're trying to attract your husband, but you use measurements that only women care about, you'll both be confused. If you use measurements designed for men, you'll have him eating out of the palm of your hand, and he won't even notice that freckle you've had on your palm since you were 9, that freckle that haunts you to this day. Take big butts as one example. Women are often concerned about the size of their rump. Now, this has decreased in recent years, but it's still there. It's still there, especially after giving birth. Mom butt strikes hard. The old caboose just isn't as small as she used to be. Any woman who's given birth will tell you this. But do men actually care? Let's look at the research. The University of Texas at Austin conducted a study to find out if Sir Mix-a-Lot's song about loving big butts spoke to all men everywhere. The study concluded that men actually respond more to the curve in the spine above the butt than to the size of the butt itself. Whether the butt was large or small, men preferred the look of a healthy spinal curve augmented with muscle. Armed with this knowledge, you can work on developing your lower back muscles so they present your butt in the best light. Instead of wishing that you had a different body, improve what you got so it looks good to you and your partner. Another view to consider is this. Your partner picked you, so there must be something about you that he likes. If you're his type, you don't need to change your body type. If you're feeling insecure, work to create the best version of the body that you already have. And before you go thinking you need to be stick thin to make him like you, ask what he actually prefers. A study published with Pierre J. titled The Relationship of Female Physical Attractiveness to Body Fatness found that men link attractiveness with weight only down to a BMI of 19. That's rated as healthy by the American CDC. Below 19 BMI will actually deliver diminishing returns as fewer men find it attractive. You don't have to look starved to be loved. Most anxious women, though, are so preoccupied with worrying what their husband or boyfriend wants that they forget to ask him. Of the few who do think to ask, most won't because they'll believe he'll be too nice to answer the truth. And those who do ask usually won't believe the answer. I encourage every woman watching this to ask your partner about your imperfections and what he really thinks. But don't just ask with the assumption he's a liar who's going to cover out how disgusted he is by your one freckle. Really listen to him. And when he asks, "You have a freckle? Where?" and you point to your nose, and he actually seems surprised, don't take it personally. He's so dazzled by the rest of you, he didn't stop to take note of your imperfections. So stop worrying about what he sees. Flaunt what you've got so he can't stop staring. Thank you for watching. I'm Adam Lane Smith, and if this video has been helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.